again as a teacher. Like, nothing's personal, you come back the next day, everyone's back to normal, right? So they say that only the teacher remembers what happened yesterday. Like, the kids, they're back and they don't think they've offended you at all. They're just back, to the daily routine. So that was my first bad teaching experience. This is actually my third block. So this is actually this year around February, March. So I was pretty discouraged, and so during the summer, I was applying for jobs in Ontario, I was thinking of staying at home. If I have to, maybe I'll move to the outskirts of town or something. Nothing too far. So I was thinking, because it's hard to find a job, maybe I'll supply teach for a bit. I'll tutor just to keep floating. But during those months, I was actually questioning whether I should stay in teaching, because in my third block, it's not only classroom management, it's actually like one of my associate teachers, she was like pointing out all the things that I need to get better at. And it's weird because on my first two blocks, I also had evaluations, but they all sounded pretty good. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So me being someone that's very self-critical, I was thinking, I wasn't doing this right, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, maybe the perfectionistic mentality, maybe not, because I actually do see these flaws in myself. So when these teachers would give me these reviews that are pretty decent, I'd be like, oh, I guess maybe I'm just being too self-critical. Maybe these aren't as big of an issue as I thought. Maybe I should just learn to accept these decent evaluations and not be so critical. So when this third teacher came along and just boom, 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 and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, someone's on to me, I actually wasn't doing any of this very well. It's just no one just said anything. So on the one hand, I was very grateful that she was blunt with me. She was just telling me straight up what I wasn't doing well on. But at the same time, I was like, well, the reason I struggle with these things is because I don't know how to get better at them. I was like, I don't know, I can't even think of a way to get better. She would tell me how to get better, but it's hard to sink in because it's hard to explain. But basically, she tried to help me, but she couldn't help me. She would tell me how I could do things better, but I wouldn't be able to do what she asked me to do, which is probably why I couldn't improve on what I needed to improve on. So it wasn't just classroom management, it was a lot of other things like teaching strategies, how do I make sure I know where every student is at, so a lot of the technical stuff to do with teaching. So I was struggling to, in terms of, can I make it as a teacher? At the same time, I kind of narrowed my road. It's sort of like I'm taking forks in the road, but now I'm pretty much set myself on this road. I was sure about it, I'm going to go teach. But then it's oh no, it's not working now. But I don't know where else to go. I narrowed it down already. I've already took a close look at all the other, industries, all the other careers. I pretty much set myself down this road, but now it's and also because of the way it seemed like God blessed that path so smoothly. So usually, this is a working hypothesis, but I think when something is God's will, it's just smooth, out of nowhere. It's people can't get into teacher's college. I get into teacher's college. People can't get experience as a teacher. Teachers can't even get experience as a teacher. I get all those experiences. And everyone I talk to, I'm not saying base your life on what other people say, but the past 2 or 3 years, every time I tell people, oh, I'm gonna go into teaching, they're like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. It is totally suits you, and I think, depending on who they are, CD team, people very much a CD team, they'd be like, yeah, you explain things really well. Or if I'd be talking to a university friend and that I hadn't talked to for 2 or 3 years, he'd be like, oh, teaching, yeah, that's perfect. Because I remember, we were in class, after class, we'd be working, talking about homework, and you would explain stuff really well. So all these random affirmations that I'm just make me feel, oh, I think this is where God's leading me. So the path had been really smooth right up to that point. So then it's well, God, I pretty much set myself for this path, but it seems like it's not going to go. What are you trying to tell me, right? So there's this kind of a dialogue with God. It's what do you want from me? What's going on? So there's a lot of doubt there. So these were the 3 months, May, June, July. So it was a very difficult time, and I shared in my testimony on stage also that I was like, also church-wise, like this is the first summer I didn't play softball in like 16 years, like since '96, 15 years. Yeah, so it's a big step for me. Like I'm retiring from softball, right? It's huge because softball is where like I grew a lot as a leader. I grew a lot as like someone who works with young people, like, and I built a lot of relationships at this church. So like for me to quit softball, like that's huge. And I had been away for the year, so I wasn't teaching C18. And another thing was like I'm like one of those people that felt like I was getting a little too old for salt, but I felt a bit too young for footprints. So yeah, I was like in the gap. So I'm like, what do I do? Like, so I was feeling out of place at church basically. I was like, so in terms of career, I'm kind of in a limbo. In terms of church, which is like my second family, I'm like kind of in a limbo. And so I was like kind of like disoriented, like floating in midair, like kind of like what am I doing? So that's the context to like what I shared on Sunday, which is basically. I'm gonna pause because we spent. This is a new chunk, so. Okay, so I gave my email to 4 recruiting agencies at a careers fair in January, and these were Teach in the UK recruiting agencies because I was thinking, oh, I've always wanted to travel Europe. Maybe I can teach there and travel there. That was my thinking back in January of this year. But you know, after everything that happened in the school year and during the summer, I was thinking, yeah, I don't think I'm up for like moving to another country. Like it's and the cost of living is really high in the UK, and it's kind of iffy. I don't know what kind of job they're gonna give me. Kind of be on my own, so it didn't seem very much like a good idea. But then I got in. So also during that time, I got an email from someone from a Queens that I met the year before, and she was saying I got hired by an international Christian school, and they treat you really well. They give you training in the summer, and they make sure you're well taken care of, and you know what you're doing. So that kind of attracted me because in Ontario, teaching in Ontario, it's kind of like you get thrown into the fire because you're expected to just get right in there and teach full time and just be a teacher. And it's not like other teachers are not going to help you, but like they got their own workload too. So that was kind of intimidating after my practicum experience, where I wasn't even teaching a full load and kind of feeling like I was overloaded already. So I started looking international because of that. So I was thinking maybe a Christian school that can kind of make sure I get good training and make sure I get taken care of, and so that kind of got me thinking about international. But then I applied to that organization. They were actually like willing to hire me, but then they're saying like the hiring cycle was over for this fall, so you're pretty much looking at next year. So I was kind of bummed out because I was hoping to work and I was hoping to finally start my career, finally earn some money, and then eventually move out of my home because I'm still living at home with my parents, which is so kind of struggling to move on to that next stage, and also struggling to start my career. Like I haven't even earned my own salary for I was already running out of money because I only worked for 6 months. I got money in grad school, but all of that is running out. So I was kind of bummed out, but I was already thinking international. So when this job offer came from one of those teaching in the UK recruiting agencies, which is weird because this is not the UK. If you didn't know, this is actually in South Asia. This is east of India, west of China, approximately. So the email comes on August 10th, early in the morning. I had actually gotten up early that morning because I couldn't sleep because I was like, what am I going to do this fall? Like these were the thoughts training in my head. And like I gotta go get my computer and kind of figure stuff out. And I get this email that says, we're looking to hire urgently ICT, which is Information Communication Technology, or / Computer Studies teacher. It's in Bangladesh, but it's tax-free salary, it's accommodations included, it's airfare included, medical coverage included, and tax-free salary. I said that already. Low cost of living. So I'm like, oh, this looks perfect because I'm looking for a job. It's a Canadian curriculum school, so it's not like if I come back it'll be irrelevant. I'll say I had Canadian teaching experience because graduates get a New Brunswick diploma, high school diploma, and what else? so all of those things sounded really good, and I sent in my resume and my reference letters, and I got phone interviewed on the same day, and I got hired on the same day. I was talking to the teacher, the principal who hired me, and from what she said, it seemed like the job really fit me. Like, it's a school that's just starting out. It's a school that will have smart boards for every classroom, laptops for every student. So it's a very, well-off school, I guess, like the people who opened it. And they have a big vision for the school in terms of linking it to development in that country. So it's got a really inspiring vision that I would buy into. And also, it has small class sizes because the school is just starting. They're looking at less than 10 students per class. So a lot of my fears about teaching in Ontario do not exist. First of all, a lot of the politics isn't there. They're not there to scrutinize you, where you're just trying to teach well enough to keep your job. Because it's like 7 teachers, 1 principal, a school of less than 50 students, because it's 5 grades, less than 10 people per grade, grades 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a little younger, maybe easier to manage. Culture there, very respectful of teachers, so they won't talk back as much. And their parents are, paying for them to go to school, so they're probably, better behaved, and also less than 10 people per class means easier class to manage and also easier to teach, less workload, less stuff to mark, easier to make sure every student is learning, and you don't have to worry about 30 students, you're only worrying about 5 to 10 students. So everything that I was worried about teaching does not exist in this situation. So the fact that I was hired and the job seems right for me, and it's in Bangladesh, and it's like I wasn't even thinking of moving out of the country. So that's why I say it's kind of from God, because it's like so unexpected, so unorthodox, it was so uncalled for. But yeah, it was very very out of the blue. So that's why I'm excited to go. I'm gonna look at my cheat sheet to see if I left out anything. Oh, and it's a 1-year teaching contract. So it's not too long. I get to see if I like it there. And it's also, and it's 90% Muslim, which is pretty interesting. 90% Muslim, 9% Hindu.
Yeah.
1% everything else. So there's Buddhist and Christian, whatever. I think they lump Catholics and Protestants together there. But I think it's intriguing because, I've read a lot of theology, so it's not like I'm going to be confused about the theology, and I heard Muslims are very intellectual, so I can talk to them with that, and I'm interested in just learning about that culture, because the more I learn about Muslims, there's Muslims in Canada, they're nice people, what's wrong with Muslim people, right? Nothing. The people. So I'm excited to be in this situation where I get to grow in terms of getting to know new cultures, grow in terms of it's an emerging country, developing country, so the politics and the news is actually more important. Here I don't even follow the news because it doesn't really affect me. Well, that's an oversimplification, but there it's you want to know the news because the politics, the people in power, stuff actually matter, right? So and there the country's actually moving forward because they have a majority government and things are just getting done. Whereas here it's different parties argue and nothing gets done. And then so there it's the country's moving, something's happening, and the developing, and I'm teaching a subject called technology. That's actually one of my worries right now because it's actually, the more I read the curriculum, it's not always had in mind. But anyway, that's kind of a footnote. But I just feel like it's a country that is trying to build itself up using digital technology. That's sort of the platform on which the current stable government, majority government, got elected on. So I'm excited about being there in terms of just professional development, not just as a teacher, as just a global, professional or whatever. It's a bigger world, and anyway, and it's a big milestone in my life. I was sitting on stage up there, because it's my first job in my teaching career. So again, I was doubting my future as a teacher. Well, God gave me a job as a teacher, so maybe there's something for me in there. So it's a good affirmation, and also my first job in my career where I'm earning my own money, kind of being my own kind of financially self-sustaining person, and